Hi there, this is Dr. Lenny Izzo. I'm broadcasting from Huntington, New York. This is my office here. I've been here for 34 years. And I want to talk to you about the Sensitiv Imago. That's the topic of this video for all you doctors who are listening. I created one video where I described a process with a 22-year-old woman. I want to talk to you about, in this video, about a process with a 62-year-old man who had a condition of prostatitis, and through the Imago scan, which is a bioresonance scan, we were able to look directly into what the causative factors were. It wasn't just prostatitis, it was a liver issue, it was urogenital, it was immune issue. Those were the weak systems, immunity, detoxification through the urogenital system. There was also digestive, liver in particular, liver gallbladder, so another system of detoxification. And we were able to identify those weak systems. Also, we're able to identify what's called the target organ. You can do that with the Sensitiv Imago. The target organ is the organ that's holding that greatest burden. It's the organ that's going to give way next. It's the organ that's going to go through the crisis. So the prostate really wasn't the primary issue. It was the systems of detoxification. When we looked in further, there was a significant viral load. There was an HPV virus, there was cytomegalovirus, he had a history of herpes, and then looking at it even a little bit deeper in terms of environmental contaminants, there was a significant heavy metal burden in his prostate tissue. And so clinically what I did was I always drain. I use homeopathic drainage, herbal drainage formulas, and started to open up the emunctory, started to open up the channels, and drained the tissues, and then began to support the systems of detoxification, regenerate some healthy regeneration of detoxification function for him, take the load off of particularly the urogenital system, remove the contaminant burden from the tissue, use bioresonance therapy directly on the prostate, directly on the target organ, and also on the weak systems that we choose. We choose those sections. And in a process of 6 to 8 weeks, there was significant change, which we can measure mathematically. That's what's another amazing feature of the Imago, and this technology of bioresonance therapy is we can look at the energetic pattern, and because of the software, the advancement of the software, we can take that energy pattern, transduce it through a digital languaging system, and then categorize through mathematical coefficients just how serious the degree of degeneration or dysfunction or adaptation, which is inflammation, is. And then measure the progress mathematically as we're doing bioresonance therapy and as I'm using formulas to transform and regenerate healthy tissue. We first, eliminate the toxic burden. We do that through all the tools that you have, and I do it the way I do after 34 years. And I also want to mention that bioresonance therapy, we can do what's called BRT, bioresonance therapy, and MORA therapy, which is well known in the field of bioresonance technology. And with bioresonance therapy through the Sensitiv Imago, we can focus on the tissue that is in question, whatever organ or tissue we're looking to change and regenerate and heal. And we can isolate the pathogenic frequencies in that tissue. In this case, it was viral and heavy metal contamination. So we can isolate that actually on the computer. The program allows us to do that. And then invert that frequency. And for those doctors who practice energy medicine and who are familiar with the principles of homeopathy, you know what the meaning of inverting that frequency, inverting that waveform, inverting that oscillation, and sending in an inverted waveform, neutralizing the frequency in the tissue, which then also frees up that frequency and the associated particles to that frequency in the tissue or the organ, and helps whatever protocols that I'm using just clear that frequency, that contamination, that environmental toxicity, that viral burden from the tissue even that much quicker. So when you combine the bioresonance therapy with your own toolbox, we can identify very specifically. We can go in there and do some pretty specific energy type surgery, not surgery in the conventional model sense, but in terms of being surgical in our ability to identify what doesn't belong in that tissue, to encapsulate it, to isolate it, send in a inverted frequency to neutralize that so it doesn't add a burden to the immune system. The immune system releases it, and then we go in with morotherapy, which is the natural frequency, the natural physiological frequency that nature has created for that particular tissue, and then regenerate that reserve within that organ system, regenerate that reserve from a cellular level, and then regenerate function as well as structure. It's pretty amazing, and this is what we can do now with the Sensitiv Imago. And what we did with this 62-year-old man was we not only got the crisis, got him out of the crisis, but we also got the crisis out of him. And that's 21st century healthcare. That's what we can do with the technology of the Sensitiv Imago. So if you have any questions, feel free to call my office at 631-547-LIFE, 547-5433, and go to my website, leniozo.com, under the category of bioresonance therapy. Inquire. I'd be happy to talk with you. This technology is very new in this country. It is more accepted and more utilized in Russia, in the Ukraine, and in parts of Europe. But my partner and myself are bringing it into the country, and we're way ahead of the curve. And so if you are as well, and you're not intimidated by what I just said, give me a call, and I'll be happy to talk with you. This is Dr. Leniozo saying goodbye for now. Thanks for coming up and showing up and listening to this video, and I'll see you next time. All right. Stay well.